If you found this video, listen to me very carefully. You didn't stumble here by luck. You didn't click by mistake. You didn't land here out of boredom. Something deep within you, deeper than thought or emotion, pulled you here. Because there comes a moment in life where truth can no longer be delayed. And today, you're about to hear a truth most people avoid, deny, or bury. Poverty begins in the spirit long before it appears in life. No financial struggle appears without a deeper spiritual root. No lack in the physical world exists without a lack in the inner world. No blockage in your money, opportunities, relationships, or purpose appears without a blockage in your identity, your beliefs, your faith, your vision. The reason so many people stay poor spiritually and eventually poor mentally, emotionally, and even financially is not because they lack opportunities. It's not because they lack intelligence. It's not because they were born in the wrong place, the wrong family, the wrong time. It's not because the world is unfair. No, the truth is far more uncomfortable. People stay spiritually poor because they refuse to confront themselves. The first form of poverty is not in your bank account. It is in your vision. Spiritually, poor people don't see, they don't believe, they don't create, they wait, they complain, they excuse, they shrink, they procrastinate, they doubt, they hesitate, they defend their limitations instead of expanding their potential. They live in survival mode while their destiny burns in the background. Spiritual poverty thrives because it is comfortable. It asks nothing of you. It demands no discipline. It requires no courage. It never confronts your darkness. It never challenges your ego. It never forces you to grow. It allows you to stay asleep, to shrink, to hide, to postpone your purpose. Poverty of the spirit becomes a familiar home, a cage decorated to look like safety. Spiritual poverty survives because it feeds on three powerful illusions. The illusion that you have time, the illusion that you are a victim, the illusion that you are powerless. These illusions destroy destinies. The illusion of time makes you delay your calling. The illusion of victimhood makes you blame everything except your choices. The illusion of powerlessness keeps you small. People stay poor spiritually because they cling to these illusions as if they were truths. They build entire identities around their wounds, their trauma, their excuses, their fears. They become attached to their own suffering. They wear their limitations like a badge. They don't lack resources. They lack responsibility. They don't lack talent. They lack discipline. They don't lack intelligence. They lack self-awareness. They don't lack faith. They lack courage. And no one ever says this out loud. But let me be the one to tell you, your spirit creates your finances. Your beliefs create your conditions. Your inner energy creates your opportunities. Your self-worth creates your income level. Your identity creates your destiny. Everything you experience externally is a reflection of what you allow internally. If you want to understand why someone stays spiritually poor, look at three things: how they think, how they decide, how they speak to themselves. Look at someone stuck in spiritual poverty, and you will see the same patterns every time. They minimize themselves. They doubt everything. They see limits everywhere. They shrink around opportunities. They silence their gifts. They suffocate their own potential. They say, "I can't," before even trying. They say, "It's not for me," before even learning. They say, "I'm unlucky," while refusing responsibility. They say, "I don't know how," but refuse to learn. Spiritual poverty is not a lack of money. It is a lack of self. It is a soul disconnected from its own power, a soul forgotten, a soul dimmed, a soul asleep. Financial poverty is a symptom. Spiritual poverty is the disease. And in that condition, a person sees only obstacles, but a spiritually wealthy person sees possibilities. A poor spirit protects its wounds. A wealthy spirit protects its vision. A poor spirit waits. A wealthy spirit builds. A poor spirit prays for miracles. A wealthy spirit becomes the miracle. Now let's go deeper, because this is where the truth becomes even harder to swallow. People stay spiritually poor because they are terrified of transformation, terrified to release the identities they built around fear, terrified to abandon their excuses, terrified to step into responsibility, terrified to become visible, terrified to become powerful, terrified to rise. They want change without inconvenience, growth without discomfort, results without sacrifice, elevation without humility, abundance without discipline, success without transformation. That's not how spiritual laws work. The universe does not reward avoidance. God does not reward passivity. Life does not reward fear. Destiny does not reward confusion. Many spiritually poor people confuse superstition with spirituality. They think signs alone will save them. They think miracles will replace responsibility. They think the universe will bless them simply because they want something. No. The universe responds to alignment, not desire. God responds to obedience, not wishes. Life responds to identity, not dreams. You will never outdream your identity. You can only rise to the level of who you believe you are. Now let's shift into the mystical dimension. Spiritual poverty is not just a mental pattern. It is also an energetic state. Yes, there are energies that feed on stagnation. Yes, there are spiritual parasites that attach to unhealed wounds. Yes, there are entities that feed on fear, bitterness, procrastination, envy, self-doubt. These energetic parasites live in the corners of the unseen self. They amplify negativity. They intensify doubt. They suffocate purpose. They drain motivation. They weaken identity. They destroy self-worth from the inside out. And when the inner world is infected like this, the outer world becomes chaotic. You cannot attract abundance with a wounded frequency. You cannot manifest with a blocked spirit. You cannot rise with a fearful heart. You cannot receive with closed hands. You cannot grow with a shrinking mind. You cannot step into destiny while carrying the skeletons of the past. Now let's move to the prophetic. Here is the deepest truth. People stay spiritually poor because they ignore their calling. Every person has a calling, a purpose, a mission, a spiritual assignment that only they can fulfill. But spiritually, poor people bury their calling beneath fear, procrastination, ego, numbness, distraction, laziness, jealousy, anger, comparison, victimhood. When you ignore your calling, you ignore the source of your abundance. You turn your back on your destiny. You dim the divine spark within you. Some people will remain spiritually poor because they never become the person they were created to be. They prefer familiar suffering over unfamiliar greatness. They prefer the comfort of the cage over the risk of the sky. Now let's speak financially. Why do poor people stay poor? Because they spend money to impress while wealthy people invest money to elevate. Because they chase pleasure while wealthy people chase purpose. Because they repeat generational mistakes, while wealthy people break generational curses. Because they disrespect money, while wealthy people master it. Because they fear risk, while wealthy people fear stagnation. Because they wait, while wealthy people act. But underneath all of this, there is one ultimate truth. Spiritual poverty is an unconscious choice. Yes, a choice. Every day you choose between discipline or distraction, faith or fear, responsibility or excuses, identity or confusion, alignment or chaos. Your destiny moves with your decisions. You cannot escape the responsibility of your own spirit. Spiritual prosperity begins the day you stop lying to yourself. The day you stop protecting your own stagnation. The day you stop shrinking to make others comfortable. The day you stop carrying identities that were never yours. The day you stop living small. The day you stop surviving and start becoming. Your breakthrough begins with ruthless self-honesty. Your elevation begins with spiritual courage. Your abundance begins with alignment. This is the prophetic truth. The universe does not reward fear. God does not reward inaction. Life does not reward laziness. Destiny does not reward confusion. Spiritual abundance belongs to those who are awake, who face their shadows, who break their illusions, who reclaim their power, who heal their wounds, who embody their purpose, who follow the whisper of their calling. Poor people remain spiritually poor because they stay in the illusion the world built for them. Spiritually wealthy people rise because they step out of that illusion. If you want to rise, the time has come to shed the identity fear gave you, to kill the version of you that survives instead of lives, to bury the mindset that keeps you small, to silence the voice that says you're not enough, to dismiss the chains of the past, to break free from the prison of excuses, to awaken the version of you that has been waiting for years to take the lead. You were not born to be spiritually poor. You were not born to be invisible. You were not born to play small. You were not born to survive. You were born to create, to transform, to elevate, to multiply, to lead, to shine. Today, your spirit stands at a crossroads. Remain spiritually poor, or step into spiritual abundance. Remain a victim, or become a creator. Remain asleep, or awaken. Remain limited, or expand. Remain the old you, or become the true you. Your life will change the moment your spirit changes, and your spirit will change the moment you decide so. Spiritual poverty was never your destiny. It was your history, your old layer, your former identity. Your future begins the moment you shed that layer. You will not remain spiritually poor. Not after this. Not after awakening. Not after hearing the truth, because now you know. And once you know, you can never return to who you were before. Your elevation begins today.